These sheets of pasta can now be used to create many different shapes. They can simply be run through the cutters of the machine to make various noodles, or they can be cut by hand to make beautiful pappardelle noodles. Just lightly sprinkle the sheets of pasta with flour or semolina to prevent sticking. Then loosely roll the sheets and cut sections about the width of your thumb. Unravel the pieces so they don't stick together. Then flour again and lightly toss. This fresh pasta can sit at room temperature for about 30 minutes before cooking. The sheets can also be used to make cannelloni. You may need to trim off a bit of the dough so it doesn't overlap too much, but this will depend on how wide the sheet is to begin with and how much filling you add. Wet one edge with just a bit of water and then pipe the filling along the opposite side. Now working from one end, gently roll to seal the dough like this. Then cut into pieces about the size of a bench scraper. The cannelloni can either be cooked immediately with tomato sauce and bechamel, or it can be frozen for up to a month. To make tortellini, cut the dough into little squares and brush two of the edges with a touch of water. Then spoon about a teaspoon of the filling into the center of each square. Note, if you add too much filling, the tortellini will not seal properly. Now take one side of the dough and fold it over and press it onto the opposite side to form a triangle. To finish, press and gently pinch the edges together to seal. Then bring the two corners together like this. To make tortelloni, which are just bigger tortellini, follow the same method, only cut the squares bigger and add a bit more filling. Then again, bring the edges together to form a triangle. Only now you will need to wet the top edge of one of the corners before you bring them together. This will ensure they stick together nicely. To make ravioli, figure out where the center of the sheet is and then subtract about a half an inch to account for folding. And then make a line. Now gently mark where you're going to spoon the filling. This is just to help you visualize. Then lightly brush this half of the dough with a bit of water. Then spoon about a teaspoon or so of filling onto each spot. Once done, loosely fold over the excess dough. Then press the dough together, pressing between the filling and around the edges to seal it. Then trim the edges and cut around and between the ravioli. To finish, make sure the edges are tightly sealed, so no filling escapes during cooking. The ravioli can now be cooked immediately or placed onto a tray sprinkled with semolina and frozen. Sprinkle the top of the pasta with semolina as well to prevent them from sticking and then freeze. Once frozen, place into a freezer bag and store up to 1 month in the freezer.